Hey guys, it's Tom Box. Welcome to MST.TV. It's that time of the year again where a new set is just around the corner. And with that being said, we are going to be doing the set analysis part 1 of Dark Neostorm. Of course, part 1 is where we go into looking at all the secret rares and all of the hype cards with strong following or perhaps a strong meta impact. Part 2 is going to be the full set analysis, of course, where we go through every single archetype, major support, minor support, and everything in between. So subscribe to stay tuned for that. If you guys are going to be doing like a sneak draft or anything like that, you should probably pay attention to that, especially if you want to win the match or something along those lines. Now back to this. In this video, we are going to be looking at the secret rares in depth, and we're going to try to predict their price point based off of their effects and their meta impact. And this video, of course, is brought to you by the Patrons. A huge thank you to the Patrons are keeping me alive and well. So huge shout out to you guys. If you guys want to help support this channel, you guys can check out the Patreon link down in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so we're gonna look at all the secret rares today. So for this video, if you guys have been paying attention to any of the leaks recently, all of the secret rares have been leaked for the most part. So we have Cherubini, the Black Angel, Burning Abyss. We have Mech Knight Crusadia Astramax. This is really cool card. Artwork wise, probably the best art in the entire set. We have Ib, the World Chalice Miko. Cynet Mining, Fairy Dragon Lavalor. In fact, a lot of hand traps are secret rares. In fact, most of the new cards that are secret rare that are monsters, they are hand traps. So we have Fairy Dragon Lavalor. We have No Material. I'm very interested in this TCG exclusive, and I do find that there are restrictions on this card that make it a lot more fair, and we'll talk about that specifically actually. And then we have Astro Nightmare Idly, and we have Null Nun and Blooming Dogwood. This one we haven't really seen an image as of when I made this video, but it's safe to assume that this card is going to be a secret rare like all the other Ghost Girls before her. Yeah, so Ghost Girl, Zombie Tuner, Hand Trap. We all know the deal. So let's go into the very first monster, which is Cherubini. Finally, we get this Link monster. So Cherubini, how much impact does it have? We have to guess its price point based off of its utility in the meta. Okay, so looking at this Link 2, it is pretty generic. It's 2 level 3 monsters, kind of like Dante. So if you summon out Tour Guide, you're guaranteed to be able to go into Cherubini. What does she do though? So monster this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects, so offers protection as you combo, as you extend. If this card on the field would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard instead, so you can maintain that protection at the very least. Now the other effect is like the Foolish Burial. You can send one level 3 monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target one Burning Abyss monster on the field, and it gains attack equal to the sent monster's attack and defense. So you gain attack and defense until the end of this turn. So it's not a permanent attack gain, but hey, you're using it for the effect of sending a card more than anything else. And I believe the sending is a cost. Yeah, it's a cost. It's got a semicolon before it. It's a cost. The moment you activate it, you send that card. Kind of reminds me of like Lava Ball Chain, but I guess a little bit quicker. Although you are locked into only sending level 3s, but there are other decks that can utilize that. And I think in the future, if a level 3 deck becomes more prominent, this card will spike up. But for now, in terms of price point, unfortunately, this Burning Abyss deck did lose Fairy Tail Snow, which was a huge factor in the deck because it offered you interaction against your opponent, and you can also remove various threatening targets by booking them face down. It's a non-removal threat move, like non-destructive threat removal. Therefore, that was a really major loss in that deck. So price point wise, I'd say on release at sneak peek, $20, $20-$25, and it'll probably remain around that range until it kind of falls off play for a bit. Then it will be about, say, 10. And if it ever picks up play again, that's when it gets really scary. So during that moment where, oh my god, there's this crazy level 3 deck coming out, you can expect that it will settle around like 30 or something when that happens. But yes, that's my expectation for Cherubini. Next we have Super Saiyan Blue Goku. We have Mech Knight Crusadia Astramax. I don't know the final name yet. I'm looking at like my GeoPro, but we have the final name already. But this guy, he is amazing. He fits very nicely in your pantheon of boss monsters, Borlo, Borosword. Do you want to put this guy in? Like for most of the Link 4s, they have the biggest utility for the most part. Like Firewall's banned because it was just broken. We have Skuldred, which is kind of like his replacement. We have Borosword, which is the main attacker OTK. We have Borload, which is the main control stealer. We have Topologic Bomber Dragon, which nullifies the zone control and also offers you burn damage. Where does this one fit in particular? Well, in terms of its zoning, in terms of its arrows, we have left, right, bottom, left, bottom, right, which is exactly like Borolo Dragon. It's a light monster, cybers the link effect. I think that we don't really have that many light-based link monsters to begin with, so this is a really nice addition. Now, recipe-wise, 2+ monster special summon from the extra deck. So you can use 2 Link 2 monsters, unlike the Burl series where you are basically mandatory required to use, say, Link like 3 monsters. This one you can use a Link 3 and a Link 1, or you can use 2 Link 2s. And that means if you go into the Nightmare Unicorn, you can still easily go into Astramax, whereas if you try to go into the Boral series with a unicorn, you have to burn an extra 2 monsters to get there, because that unicorn's only going to count as 1 body. So anyway, so recipe wise, pretty easy to make, and I like the effect. If this card's link summon, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Also, your opponent's monster cannot target other monsters for attack, so he's beefy. He's just charging up, because once per battle during the damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster, quick effect, you can have this card gain attack equal to the monsters of your opponent's monster during that damage calculation. It's once per battle, so if your opponent only plays with special summon monster, well, tough luck. Good luck trying to beat over this guy, because this guy will crush you. So on top of that, it has built-in Honest, so it's dealing 3k damage, kind of like what's his face, Boral Sword Dragon. So the first hit's always 3k. This one's gonna be 3k regardless, and then yeah, you only gain the attack for that damage calculation only, so it kind of resets. Now, one key thing I want to point out is that it cannot be targeted. In other words, you'll be protected from making from your opponent using Widow Anchor against you, which is quite key. In fact, you can't get targeted by Afterburner. You can still be destroyed by non-targeting effects, but he does fit nicely in that spot where I need a boss monster, I need to go into Unicorn. After that, this is the card that I think is the go-to. And not only that, when he leaves the field, if this link summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by opponent's card, that means by battle, which is very unlikely, you can shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. It's non-targeting removal, so even if it dies and gets sent to the graveyard, you can remove a body. So in terms of price point wise, I can see this card starting off at around 25 to 30, and it is just a 1-of in your extra deck, so don't expect it to be too expensive. It's not like a Boral Sword where it's like a win condition. This is not exactly a win condition, but this is like the backup condition. And how much would you spend on a backup? So it's about 25 to 30 bucks on release, and it'll probably settle around like $20, to be honest. And our last secret rare entry for the extra deck, we have Ibthea World Chalice Miko. This one is a Synchro Tuner monster, level 5. However, if you're playing World Chalice, you can use this to benefit off of multiple pluses that you can gain from just making her. First of all, the recipe is 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. But if you're playing World Chalice, your normal monsters can count as the tuner. So as long as you have Rescue Rabbit, you're automatically able to go into her, which is pretty nice. And what happens when you summon into her? Well, you get to add a World Legacy card. So you can add like World Legacy Succession, you can add that Mekk-Knight's Skill Drain card. There's lots of fun things you can add. World Legacy has a huge lineup of spells and traps anyway. And then we have ourselves if this card is Synchro Summoned and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon out 1 World Chalice monster from the deck or graveyard. So World Chalice monster does not specify whether it's the normal one or not. So if you already have like some Link monsters in the graveyard that you would like to bring back, like, I don't know, Longrisu? Is it Longrisu? No. Ningrisu, you can bring him back too, and then get some other effects off of that. But yes, this card is pretty good, I think, and I think because the World Chalice archetype right now isn't at its at its peak, at its most popular, it's not going to be one of the most expensive cards. This isn't a card that you play 1 of, I assume. I think you might play more because you can use it to synergize and extend your combos. So you can add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand, and there's lots of World Legacy cards that can help the World Chalice deck extend. And you can even link this card off. If you link it off, it is sent to the graveyard. As long as this card was Synchro Summoned, you're basically good to go into getting another body out. So you can quickly go into the Link 4s, I think. So regardless, I think this card at release is going to be like 15-ish, 15, 20-ish, and probably settling around there. It might stay around 20 if World Chalice uses this card like crazy and just abuses it to the point where it is top tier meta, but I don't exactly see that. Correct me if I'm wrong, leave it down in the comment section below. And we're gonna move on to the remaining 5. Then we have Silent Mining. Not too much to talk about this one. This is a search card for cyber monsters. So you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add one level 4 lower cyber monster from your deck. Seems like it's a crappy Rhoda. But why is this secret rare? You can only activate one per turn? What? I'm so limited. Well, here's the thing. Salamangreats, Orcus, they all can abuse this card. How can Orcus abuse this? Well, if you look at the typing of Ibli, the Nightmare Corruptor, she's a cyber monster, and if she can send one of the Orcus cards and add her, you know that they're gonna go for the OTK play, or maybe make the Azathoth play, or maybe even make the VFD play right now, as long as the ban list doesn't come out and completely crush that dream of ours. But that is a possibility. And for cybers, we also have Salamangreats. Salamangreats, they can definitely abuse this card, because if they activate this, sending a Spinny to the graveyard, and they add a Gazelle, Gazelle will activate in the next chain, because in the previous chain, it has already met the triggering condition of Gazelle to summon himself out. So that gives a Gazelle free summon, and they already sent the Spinny into the graveyard, so Gazelle can send whatever it wants to the graveyard. And there's a lot of benefits to this card. And being such a generic card, I can see there's a lot of utility. If cybers get one major archetype that's going to kick off, see, every Yu-Gi-Oh season, no matter which season it is, there's always one main character deck that eventually hits the top tier. Like 5Ds, we've got ourselves the Junk Warrior Doppel, whatever, Junk Doppel Plant, whatever that was called. We had the Pendulum stuff, which is the Performer Pals. They kicked off as well. Even Zexal had its time. So Cyber's definitely going to have a moment where Cyber's cards are going to be really kick-ass. And I think part of it was like Soulburner. Soulburner kind of gave us a glimpse of that. I think there's going to be another one coming. So right now, I would see that this card coming out is going to be like $25, $30. Just easy, just because it's already meta relevant right from the get-go. And depending on the format, it can fluctuate up or down. I can't really predict that because I don't know the future just yet. I don't have future sight. I wish I did, but no. As for our remaining 4 cards, they're all hand traps. How is that possible? Konami making us more hand traps, not ghost girls? Well, these hand traps have more specific conditions and more specific functionality of what they're supposed to tackle. Now for Fairy Dragon Laveler, this one I didn't really expect it to be a secret. I thought something else was going to be secret, but who knows? Now if a monster you control is destroyed by battle, opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. Or if it's in your hand, you can special summon it there too, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is special summoned, target one face-up monster on the field, discard one card, and if you do, add one monster with the same type and attribute as the targeted card, but with a different name. And well, you can only use this effect once per turn. So there is a strong limitation on this. First of all, there's a huge cost, which is you have to discard a card. I guess for dangers, you don't care. For dangers, you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna ditch a card. But remember that the card that you target must have a different name. So if you have to add something, it can't share the same name. So that's like a little piece of text. It's kind of hidden in there. Don't forget about it. If you're playing Thunder Dragons, sure. If you have like a leftover Thunder Dragon on board or a Colossus, yeah, you can dig out a couple of cards. If you're playing any other archetype that have mono type, mono attribute, this card works for you as well. I think it also works in the mirror match, because in the mirror match, there's definitely something that you can fetch out, as long as you're part of the mono type. But in terms of utility, it seems very specific. Like, what if I want to dig a hand trap? I can't really dig a hand trap because I can't match those types and attributes or get a different name out of it. Unless they're playing like Shiranui. If they're playing Shiranui, yeah, you can fetch out an Ash Blossom by summoning out this card. Yeah, that's great. That's a major plus, but heavy limitations as limited utility. But I guess that depending on the correct format, you can technically abuse this card, but it is a level 1 dragon, so as a monster, if it does get summoned onto the field, you can turn it into a Pisty or an LP. There's utility for that too, or even a Linkaribo at the very least. So in regards to that, I'd say this card is about $10. Yes, it's about like a $10 super rare, like secret rare, and maybe less. I think I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong like Phantasme. Phantasme is an amazing card. Maybe I put Phantasme at like a $50. That's like 100. So at the release of this card, I can say it's about 10-15. I don't think it has strong meta impact right away. That's just my guess. Next we have the TCG exclusive No Material Hand Trap. This is a level 1 fairy with 0 attack and 1000 defense. I'm pretty excited for this card, and a lot of people have been hyping it up as if this is gonna be the money card of the set. I don't know. I'm looking at the restrictions. It's very limiting, but this limitation is what makes it fair. If it didn't have the limitations, it would not be fair. Let's look into the card text. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters while you control no cards, you can discard this card. Then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This turn, that monster cannot be attributed or used as any material. By material, I mean fusion, synchros, exceeds, and link summon. None of that, and you can only use this card hard once per turn. So this card sounds pretty amazing. In terms of the disruption level, it is among the best out there, because if you look at someone comboing and then you take away one of their material, especially their high number material or one of their key arrows that they need to kind of free up, they can't do that anymore. They're stuck. Like if they have a guard dragon out and you throw this onto one of their guard dragons, say they summon out like Pisty or like LP, and then you throw that onto them, they're locked into only summoning dragons now, and they have that stupid arrow kind of stuck. It's better used on the extra monster zone that have monsters only pointing down or have no open arrows whatsoever. Those are the best kinds because they lose all their ability to extend out of the extra deck, and that is really, really big. But let's talk about the restrictions of this deck, or this card. So looking at this, it's only a trigger-based effect if your opponent special summons a monster while you control no cards. So you have to basically shotgun this card. Upon their special summon, you can discard this card. That is a huge limitation, so you can't really maximize on pluses, but I'm guessing Konami realizes how big of a plus it would have been if you could have used this as a quick effect. It would have been very devastating to anyone trying to combo, but if someone can mistime this card, it's too bad. So this is not like a quick effect discard anymore. And the other thing is that you have to control no cards. This is definitely a going second card. If you combo off and you have this card in your hand, if your opponent breaks your board, you can't stop them with this card. This card does not let you activate anyway because you control cards while they're trying to break you. So in terms of that, it's pretty fair. That's my angle about this. I mean, can you imagine if you could use this during your opponent's turn when you already went off? It's literally just a turn skip. This card is a turn skip after all. So anyways, that is why I believe this card to be about $30-ish on release. It could be a staple card in the side deck. Unless you're playing a going second build, then it could be a going, well, I guess going second card anyway. It could be in the main deck, but it's mainly a side deck card, $30-ish. It may or may not fluctuate depending if the meta plays this card or not. I think it will. I think they will. So it's about like 30, 35, and it'll probably settle around there too, unless the deck does, I guess the meta does not play extra deck cards anymore. Okay, Astro Nightmare Italy, not Nightmare Corruptor Italy, but it is another monster that your Nightmare Mermaid can summon out. A level 9 monster you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. This card is level 9, so it has self-protection. So how is this a hand trap? Well, this is the Link Buster hand trap. So Hulk Buster, Link Buster. So if the total link rating of all link monsters on the field is 8 or more, it has a quick effect where you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card special summon while your opponent controls more link monsters than you do, well, you can send all link monsters on the field to the graveyard. Non-targeting removal, sending everything to grave. That is amazing. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good. But we have to look into our current format. Our current format, do we have that many link-based decks anymore? I mean, we don't have Spirals and we don't have Samurais. I guess if you're playing against those two decks, yeah, this card's great. You just blow them out easy, like no contest right there. And for the fact that this card is a hand trap, it does come out, it offers you 21-21. That's pretty good too. But let's look into the current meta. Like we have Thunder Dragons, Thunder Guard Dragons. At most, you're only going to see, say, Link 5 from a Thunder Dragon, because they're gonna have Saryuja, and then they have LP and Pisty, or LP and Agripane. Those are the ones that you're gonna see the most. You're not gonna see Link spamming. They're never gonna get up to that rating. So if you're gonna play using it against that deck, you're gonna have to contribute a Link monster yourself to up the rating already. And because it sends all Link monsters from the field to the graveyard, you're gonna lose your monster as well. So is it worth contributing that much just for this card? Definitely not. What about other decks? Sky Striker. You're expecting a Link 1 most of the time and nothing more than that. So this is not going to come out. Any other decks? Yeah, that's right. This is no Goki era, but if U-boards come back, this is going to be like a staple. Because you can just break the U-board with just like activate this card, send everything to grave. Or better yet, before they even complete their U-board, summon out this card, send everything to grave. Even better. I think that's pretty good. And if they match up the rating for you, that's pretty good. Solid. How about Orcus? Is Orcus going to be a problem? I don't think so. Even Salamangreys don't even get their link ratings that high, so the current meta does not exactly see a lot of play for Elite just yet. Well, this card is a very good monster if links ever kick off again, I have to say. So in terms of price point wise, it's about 10-15 right now. It will spike up when the format shifts to a format where like, I don't know, maybe they make VU boards rather than just, or sorry, V extra link rather than U boards. Then yeah, this card has its purpose. So there's a chance where this card will spike up. But by that time, there's probably going to be a reprint ready for this card as well. So just keep that in mind, guys. So yeah, about 10-15 right now, potentially 30 in the future. And finally, Null None Blooming Dog with the hand trap that does not let you get OTK'd. Although your opponent, if they're establishing a control board, we've been over this. Check out the other video where I kind of pit this card against various matchups just to see how much life you would gain and is it worth doing. Like I did against Thunder Dragons and it's not worth doing because once they establish control, you're never going to get out of their grasp. So for a control deck that's comboing, it's not really worth it. So what does this card do? It helps you gain life. It's a zombie tuner, water, quick effect. You can discard this card, and each time your opponent special summons an effect monster during the main phase or the battle phase, gain life points equal to that monster's attack. Okay, and during the end phase, if you did not gain any life points, half your life points. So I guess you kind of give them a decision. It's kind of like maxi-ish, like, oh, do you want a special summon? Do you not want a special summon? Well, you can chain onto stuff, so it's fine. Okay. That being said, let's actually assess this hand trap compared to her siblings. So, Ash Blossom is one of the best cards out there. Ash Blossom is a staple. Like, the reason why it stayed at such a high price point for the longest time is because it's so generic and every deck needs some level of deck synergy from the main deck. And then there's also the other end of the spectrum, which is Ghost Reaper. Ghost Reaper is a more specific card meant to target various gameplay, which is the extra deck nullification. And that one, it was really high on the release, but then it settled down. It settled down quite hard. It's like, maybe a secret rare is like, what, 15 bucks right now? 10, 15? And on the release, it was like 35. But on the release for Ash, it was like 50. So there's a difference. So where does this settle? Does this settle closer to the Ghost Reaper or settle closer to the Ash Blossom? I can say that this one is the one in between. It depends on the format, and since we don't have Max C, we could see a lot more of this, especially when we're going first. This is like a going, well, if your opponent is going off and they're going to kill you, you want this card because they can't break your board. If your deck only relies on setting up once and then you can recycle that setup, as long as you have life and your opponent's not going to kill you, this is a really good card to have. I mean, you're not going to die because you have this card. Some decks, yeah, FTKs, yeah, perhaps they can burn through you. Of course, this is the anti-FTK hand trap. Are they going to reintroduce FTKs because we got this? Hopefully not. That would be a terrible decision. But this card can prevent you from dying for the most part, even through the biggest of boards. But a multi-attacker is one way to break through this, because a multi-attacker does not, well, this card does not account for a monster attacking multiple times. Like an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno can easily blow over this card, like just like that. So you got that to consider. Anyways, in terms of a price point, are we going to see a lot of play for this? I would say as a Ghost Girl, it's got an innate value of 30 or more, so it's 35 plus. Of course, how it's going to settle, I don't know. Are we going to play this card? Probably. Some people will because they don't have maxis, and we don't have maxis anyway, and they want to survive these big OTK formats. I guess against Orcus or anything like that, this card is really nice because you can't die. And Orcus is a big problem. It's a one pump chump. They attack once, and if they extend everything out of their board, that's it. There's no more threat. So if you're going to be eating a Boral Sword, this is the one card to eat the Boral Sword with. Price point, 35-ish on the release. Might settle, well, actually higher. It could be 50. It could be lower, or going back to the Ghost Ogre, or not Ghost Ogre, but the Ghost Reaper range of maybe 20-ish. But overall, this card will never be a dead card. And, well, that's all the secret rares. Let's go into some of the hype cards. Alright, for some of the hype cards here, these cards have major impact, or they just have a strong fan following, but this one definitely has major impact. As a super rare, I can expect this one to be $3 to $5 permanently all the way throughout because of the effect. It is so good. Activate this card by targeting one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it, and while you control that monster, it cannot attack or activate its effects. So in other words, you just use it to combo, you just use it to steal their material. What more do you want? This is like Snatch Steal on crack almost. And you can use it during your opponent's turn. That's just quite silly. Not gonna lie, this is a very good card, and it's only a super rare, so $3 to $5 easy, and it will stay at that price point forever. Basically, it's like Twin Twister level good. And we haven't really had a control stealing card effect for some time now, where it's like basically free. Next we have Orchestrated Climax. This is the counter trap for the Orcus deck. It banishes whatever that it negates. Solid card. Luckily it's an easy card to acquire as well. Then we have Spell Mining Cave or Spell Curse Cave. This is a very trolly card. So if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or declare attack. So they're just bodies. Now, if you control more monsters than your opponent does, you cannot activate monster effects. So it kind of has that Spell Village-esque kind of like double-edged sword kind of deal. Now, once per turn during the end phase, if you control the same number of monster as your opponent, destroy this card. So this card is best used when your opponent already has a monster on the field, and then you just let them sit there. You just activate this card and you can just sit there and play Destiny board and fill up your back row with final since they can't do anything. Now, most decks do not run Spell Trap removal unless they're playing Sky Striker. So I guess you can just get your Destiny board out and just win. That was one of the troll decks I've seen online, but there's a lot of implications with this card. Games are going to get really slow if this card comes out, so people will have to start considering as a threat. So MST, maybe bring back MST, Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twister. Maybe you have to start main decking that stuff because Pancratops isn't going to solve you out of this one. That's for sure. So price point wise, I don't know. There's no matter for the price point for this one. It's easy access. It's going to be bulk. Next, we have ourselves Cosdingus. This is an ultra rare. They didn't make it a secret rare, so thank you Konami for that. This is a card that you probably need 2 copies of in your extra deck or more, depending on how you play your Orcus deck. It is a very easy to summon card. It requires 2 level 8 monsters to summon out, but you're not going to use that. You're just going to use 1 Orcus Link monster to overlay on top, and that is the easy part. It has a lot of good effects, and it actually changes up the mechanic a little bit for the Orcus deck. So because this is a level 8 dark, or sorry, rank 8 dark, you can use this to rank up into a rank 9, which is VFD. So you don't have to force in the Azathoth combo in there. You can use that instead. And why I think this one's a little bit better than the Azathoth combo is that when you make the combo, you don't have to shotgun it. There's a lot of fun things you can do before that because you're going to have your Bardiche on the field, and you can revive this card with Orcus Symbol Skeleton. So if you revive it with Orcus Symbol Skeleton and summon it onto the Bardiche Link pointer, it is an Xyz monster, therefore it will activate Bardiche. And upon special summoning of this card, you can send 1 card your opponent controls into the graveyard. So it's a non-targeting send effect, and yeah, Bardiche will get to pop a card. So it's a double pop, and then you can lock them out. Overall, very strong play. And even if they do pop your rank up magic, you still get that double send, and that interruption is still very much solid. Now, on the other hand, you can also reattach one of your banished machine monsters as material to this card, and it's part of the combo where you bring back, rather than shuffling back your Orcus Symbol Skeleton, you attach it onto this card and let Bardiche destroy this card so that you have the interruption the next turn. Otherwise, you can detach a material from this card. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material from this card instead. So he's got a self-protection effect. If you want to play him in a more simplified game state and protect him, that's one way you can do it. But this card is an amazing card. Easy. This is the most expensive ultra rare in the set, so probably about 20 bucks. Then we have, for my personal favorite, I like Madolches, I like the teacher, Glass Souffle will give them another angle to play. Perhaps this will let them finally go first for once, and if they go first, they can set up some pretty decent board, protect their cards, and get some interruption out of their opponent. And I believe this card only shuffles back cards from your monster's graveyard back into the deck, or including your own. Yeah, it's pretty solid, not gonna lie. And yeah, this is just some card that I just personally really want. And for those of you who are fans of the cover card, you have Firewall, Xyz Dragon. Oh my god, Firewall is back! His head shape is a little bit different. It has that little V on the head, kind of like a, I wouldn't say a Gundam, but it's one of those mechy type cards. 2+ level 4 monsters as the rank up material, so the Xyz material. I think this card is a bit lackluster. Honestly, I prefer Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon, depending on how you like this, but This Exceed Summon card gains attack equal to the totaling rating of monsters that's linked to it and multiplied by 500. And you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 Link 4 Cyrus monster in your graveyard and special summon it so that it points to this card. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monster nor attack directly. See, that clause at the bottom is what makes this card suck, because you can't attack directly. So in other words, you're very unlikely to OTK. And the second part is you can't special summon monsters anymore, so you're locked out of summoning. So I don't like this card very much. Like, if I wanted a big beater, I would go with a Rebellion Dragon, easy, because Rebellion, I can still attack directly. And it's like same material, same cost, and it has same attack basically. I don't know why I would bother with this card, but yeah, a bit lackluster. Unlike Borreload Savage Dragon, which that cover card was freaking amazing. And that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys learned something or you guys are hyped about some other cards, leave it down in the comment section below. I would like to hear your thoughts about this set. Of course, this is part 1, so there's part 2 coming out, I believe, soon next week, as soon as I read every single card in this set and talk about it and kind of group them all together in this really long presentation that I really don't want to. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you think about Manhunt and all the other secret rares. These secret rares, they don't seem like they have the best meta impact, like Phantasme, which is like a fantastic card. How about these cards we have here? It seems like they're aiming to slow the game down a bit more. That's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit me up with a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for the full set analysis part 2. And, well, that's all I got for this one. So until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.